त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Welcome, welcome, welcome all. Nice to see you. And welcome to those on Zoom and YouTube as well. We've got a nice crowd here online and in real life, IRL as we call it. So that's quite a good exercise, keeping your attention on your breath, which I told everyone on Zoom to do. Now everyone else can catch up. Just to bring our attention on ourselves, because that's what we're here to do today. And we're actually going to dwell on the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension. So basically, before we go into meditation, we're in the third dimension. We just say, Philip. I'll also introduce you, Philip.
Somewhere there.
And what we're doing is going beyond our thinking mind. So we're still in the brain, but it's the upper part of the brain. And the thing that gives us a lot of trouble is the mind. So whether you're here for the first time, or you're here for the 41st time, or for the 40th year, look, we've got something that I'm sure you'll find extremely delightful. Philip's going to talk to us today about the spirit in our heart and just connecting to our spirit, which will go through our first stage of our meditation, getting into the fourth dimension, which is raising our own spiritual energy, our kundalini, up beyond that naughty mind that keeps us thinking all the time. So we're, as we keep newly saying last week and this week, we're going to get out of our minds. Before we get started, we might just introduce you to this diagram that we've got here, which most of you are familiar with, but for those who are here newly for the first time, basically it's everything about us is represented on this chart. And here it comes to you full on for you, those of you online, and I'll point for everyone here. So basically, we've got three sides of our nature, our three-dimensional powers, which is the power of emotion, the power of thinking, and the power of not thinking, which is our evolutionary part of our nature, our innermost channel of, what do you call that channel, the innermost?
Sushumna.
The Sushumna, or that's the Sanskrit word for it. And it's also the channel in the centre there, which I'll do my pointing.
The sound is low.
Oh, I just heard the sound's a bit low, so let me rectify that for you all. Audio settings. Seems to be quite high. Let me just have a look. What's the output level?
Okay, it's all right.
All right, I've been relieved of the technical difficulties. So basically the third dimension, the innermost channel here, which is not only the present moment, but also it's our evolutionary power, our power to do everything automatic. So our breathing, all of our sensory perceptions that we can't control, that just happen automatically, and our evolution. So our growth, our going from a baby to an old person. I'm not talking to you, Philip, about being old.
I'm close.
And so all those automatic things. So the point of directing you to that centre of our nature is that meditation also happens automatically. The little kickstart of it, that those of you, Ashik, if you're here for the first time, the kickstart to it is simply wanting to go into meditation, wanting to evolve to that stage so that power resides in this triangular bone. And when we want, and we can ask that question, which we'll do in a moment, for that to be awakened and to get our self-realization, we call it, and we go beyond our mind, where we've got our ego and our superego storing all the things we feel and think, and we go beyond that and connect to the all-pervading energy that evolves everyone and everything. So we're becoming collectively conscious. So, and it's a feeling rather than a thinking, which many of you already would have. When you look at a sunset or a beautiful scenery, you get that heartfelt response, and that's the feeling of being connected and being in that spontaneous meditation state. So that's what we're after here. Fourth dimension is where we're thoughtless and in that state. Fifth dimension, Philip's going to tell you about in a little while. But to get into that, we've got a few dots and things that are here as well. So these are different evolutionary stages of our life. And at these different stages, for instance, here is the Agya chakra, which is where we're mostly dwelling these days. the brain center, the mind rather. There are different, so that stage, that era when Christ came on the earth. So at these different stages, there's, call them deities, incarnations. There's many, many words which have different triggers for different backgrounds that people may have. This area, for instance, there's about 10 different incarnations who came on the earth to teach us how to live a balanced life. We're going to talk a little bit more about balanced life later with Philip, because we had an interesting question last week as to why do we need to be balanced. So hold that thought. We'll come back to that. So different incarnations, deities. Here was Christ, came to show us or take us out of our mind or show us how to live our lives in a better way. Now, have we taken that advice? Sometimes we've created huge religions and now there's all religions fighting, but did we take the advice of the incarnation or the deity at that time? That's not really seen. So now we're going into this stage here, the seventh center, and interestingly, if you cut open the top of your brain, you would only do that if you're a doctor, I believe, and your person might be dead. We've got 1,000 nerves. So interestingly, this center is represented by a lotus flower with 1,000 petals. So there's 1,000 nerves, 1,000 petals. So one imagines that going beyond the fourth dimension, so just getting there, getting out of your brain, we're fourth dimension, going then into the fifth dimension, we've got 1,000 different powers, things to contemplate. So we've got a very strong talk. So I did promise before I started talking that I wouldn't talk too much so that we get to listen to what Philip's got some lovely quotes for us and done a lot of lovely research on the spirit and those dimensions of our life and our heart, where our spirit resides. So let's awaken our Kundalini energy. A number of terms I haven't explained at all. If you have any questions at a later stage, we're definitely happy for you to ask any questions, and also unmute if you're on Zoom. If you're on YouTube, you can also send us a message, and I'll tell you how to do that later. So in the meantime, let's awaken our first power, our third power, our third dimension. So literally we're just using our hands, directing our attention to those energy centers, the different places of our evolution, asking some fundamental questions and basically asking for that energy to be awakened. So always good to do that. You can't do it too many times. So we're strengthening our meditative state and our self-realization. So we're strengthening our own self-realization. So let's just go straight to it. Most of you know how to do that. If it is your first time, just follow along. It's fairly easy to do that. So let's just go back to focusing on our breath. We can close our eyes. If you're a bit unsure, feel free to keep your eyes open. You can kind of focus on towards the flame and where the photograph of the founder of this meditation, Shri Mataji. You can focus there if you prefer. And then you can see what I'm doing if it's a little confusing. But we're just going to sit with our palms on our lap open, just focusing on the breath. So we've immediately gone towards our heart. You know, in our heart is where our spirit resides. But we're going to take our right hand on our heart on the left-hand side. And we're going to just ask this basic question to ourselves, to our own spirit? That am I the spirit? If your attention wanders, just bring it back onto your breath. So now take the hand just to under the ribs on the left-hand side. So it's the upper part of your stomach. This is the center of our mastery. So we're asking the question that, am I my own master? So this is the area represented by the different incarnations who came to show us how to live a balanced life. Am I my own master? Or am I just going by what I feel everyone thinks I should do, or what I've been told I should do? And now let's go down to the center that's adjacent to where that power is of our ascent. So it's the hip where the body and the leg join, just pushing the fingers of the right hand into that crease there where the leg and the body join. So I hope you've all got your shoes off and your feet are on the floor, or you may even be sitting on the floor. So here we're going to just ask a very fundamental request. Please give me the pure knowledge of myself. So this is the knowledge about our own place in that subtle energy system. Please give me the pure knowledge of myself, my true self. So this is our mothering energy, just waiting for us to ask this very question. Mother energy, please give me the pure knowledge of my true self. And coming back up to the top of our stomach, just under the ribs. With this mothering energy awakened in our central nervous system, we can now affirm that I am my own master. Mother energy, I am my own master. Coming up to our heart, back to the spot where we started. Mother energy, I am the pure spirit. I'm not this body. I'm not the mind full of ideas. I am the spirit, the pure spirit. Now we're going to take our hand up to the neck. So where the neck and the shoulder join, if you turn your head a little to the right, you can hold that area. And here, the passage of our energy through the central nervous system gets a bit squeezed if we feel guilty about things. And because we're quite sensitive, we can often feel guilty unnecessarily for so many things that we feel we've done wrong. We just need to change those things, but not feel guilty about it. So let's just rid that guilt, useless guilt, by simply saying to ourselves many times that I'm not guilty. There are about 16 petals of this flower here at our throat centre. So if we can say 16 times approximately, I'm not guilty. Mother energy, I'm not guilty. So let's let our mothering energy flow through without that guilt. Mother energy, I'm not guilty. Mother energy, I'm not guilty. A few more times. I'm not guilty. I'm the spirit. I'm not guilty. Now let's come up to that brain center, just dropping our forehead into the palm of our hand, holding it quite firmly on either side of the forehead. We can release this center and allow our energy to flow through simply by forgiving. So that was the message that the incarnation of Jesus Christ was, to forgive. Mother Kundalini, Mother Energy, I forgive everyone. And very importantly, Mother Energy, I forgive myself. I forgive. Just let everything go. Don't think of anything in particular. Just forgive everyone, everything. I forgive. Just allow our energy, or our Kundalini, the Sanskrit word for that energy, Mother Kundalini, to flow through that brain, the mind. I forgive everyone. And let's take it from behind. It's clear from the other side. So you're tipping your head back into the palm of your hand. And here we'll ask Mother Energy, Mother Kundalini, if I've made any mistakes that I know about or I don't know about, please forgive me. Any mistakes against my ascent, my spiritual ascent. If I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. And that's the quality of this center, is we are forgiven. And now coming up, just keeping your head in a neutral, slightly dropped position. Stretch your hand and place the palm, the very center of the palm, onto the very top of your head. So that's a fontanelle bone area that was soft when you were young. Just pushing down with the center of your palm on the center of the top of your head. And we can give it a little clockwise rotation, which is going forward, then to the right, back, left. Just quite firmly rotating the scalp. And then asking, Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please strengthen my self-realization. Please establish my attention in that realm of the Sahasrara, the 1,000 petals, the 1,000 powers. And then just raising your hand a little bit. That right hand is raising up. Let's see if you can feel a gentle flow. Hot or cold. Very gentle. Could be far, could be close. Wherever you feel that, or even if just subtly you think you might feel it, don't doubt, just keep your attention there. Bring the hand back down, open on your lap. Just try with the left hand, see if there's any difference. Pressing down with the palm and then bringing it up. Just see if you can feel that flow coming out of the top of your head. Just keep your attention up where your hand was. 2 hands now in your lap open. Your attention simultaneously on top of your head as well as in the palms of your hands. So when we get this awareness, it's called many things in different cultures. Our connection with divine all around. And it's our collective consciousness, so we're part of the whole. All those who are in this area, we're all in it together. One family of realized souls. So let your breath take your attention back inside and then take it up on top of your head. And just slowly opening your eyes. Hopefully you felt that 4th dimension. Thoughts have stopped. But you're aware. Everything around. But you're not thinking about it. You might, Philip's done a lot of, found a lot of lovely quotes on the heart. So the heart is where we want to go a little further. Philip, what do you feel about the spirit being in your heart? What can you tell us about that?
It is definitely there. And the beauty that Shri Mataji brought to the earth in 1970 was that inside ourselves we can feel it. It's not a dogma, you don't pay for it, and it's part of our evolving, and comes within. We had the left side came in evolution, where it was more earth, animal side of ourselves. The right side came in, to give us the ego to become modern, and now the central channel, the awakening of the Kundalini, what it does, it sparks in our heart a flame. It brings into life the spirit within ourselves. And it's through the process of meditation and getting into thoughtless awareness that that spirit appears. It's not through our thinking or what I can do, which is ego. It allows the spirit to show itself. And the interesting thing about the spirit, it's almost indescribable, but we'll do our best. But it is the totality of that big thing outside, inside ourselves, which is immeasurable, indestructible, but silent and joyful. And it's in our heart. And the beautiful thing, as I said before, what Shri Mataji gave was the ability to us to feel it. And it's the ultimate. And when you touch that in your meditation, and that's the only way it can happen, by getting the ego and super ego out of the way, allowing it to go up to here, and the Sahasrara is connected to the heart, it's for that to appear. And when that appears, and no doubt a lot of you have felt it, you go, oh, it's there. And what I've drawn together here is various quotes that show that historically this has been talked about in all the cultures, and it's the aim of what we've been directed in our evolution to achieve. And I'll start with a quote from Shri Mataji, because in lots of ways she's the expert on this. She says, "The spirit is the most precious thing that we have within ourselves. The preciousness of your spirit is immeasurable, and that is why it is called the thing of eternal value, because it is infinite. We cannot measure." And this is what I'm saying. It's silent, but it's there. It's like, back to the thing of, you can't describe it, you've got to feel it. As simple as that. In Corinthians in the Bible, it says, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." And it's our superego and ego do not give us freedom. It really clamps us up. And when you feel the spirit in the heart, it's freedom, not in a sort of a reckless way. It's just there. You don't have to prove anything. It's just there. The beautiful Carl Jung, a great soul, said, "God in us." 3 words. He sums it up. Because the spirit in the heart is either Shiva, Yahweh, God Almighty, Allah, call it what you like, all the same thing. And that's in the heart, and that's to be felt. In the Upanishads, it says, "Like a wave of existence and joy, she has entered all beings, within and without, of each of them, and on all she shines her light." The spirit is God the Mother and God the Father together. Islam, interestingly, it says, God is believed to endow humans with ruh, the spirit. And that also means breath, which is in a lot of scriptures, the breath is to do with the Holy Ghost, or when we get our realization. That's why we feel vibrations when it's awakened. And nafs, which are ego. The nafs can assume control of the body if the ruh surrenders to bodily urges. The nafs is subject to bodily desire. The ruh, the spirit, is a person's immaterial essence. Beyond the emotions and instincts, ruh makes the body alive. And this is, we're talking about information which is timeless. It's been around for thousands of years. And the beautiful thing that you find in Sahaja Yoga is when you get your realization and grow, this all comes together. It's all there. In the Pentecost, when Mary spoke to the disciples, suddenly a sound came from heaven, like the rush of a mighty wind, and filled the house where we were sitting. Shri Mataji has said, with enlightenment, we can take our attention to our heart and cleanse it. And this is a beautiful thing about Kundalini Awakening. We given the knowledge which we can work on ourselves and actually in an easy and soft way, not too hard, or allowing it to slowly, it is evolutionary, so it's a slow process. It allows us to work on ourselves. This is part of the guruship we've given, is that through our meditation, working on ourselves, this beautiful quality shows itself. It's a process. And as I said before, when it touches you, you go, oh, it's like big, joyful. I'm not talking about party dancing. I'm talking about something that is soft and just there. It's like when you go into silent thoughts awareness, no doubt you felt it, it's almost like there's no limit to the space it holds, but it's not big and demanding. And it's just there, it's part of it. I think I've run out of words.
What you said, that it's not big, but it's there. It's like, be still and know I'm there.
Yeah,
It's
it is massive. It's massive. It's like, it's the universe in itself there, but it's not, it's no atom bomb or anything. It's a, yes. And it's like, and when you touch on it, yes, you really can't explain it, not words.
I like that analogy that it's like the folds in a sari.
Yeah.
So you've got this huge long fabric, which is what a sari is, and it's folded.
Yeah.
And here we are identifying with the different folds. So the different countries, the different religions, the different cultures of the different folds. But actually it's one long fabric all joined.
Mm-hmm. But also talking about different religions, that, as you were saying before with these chakras, they came on evolutionary pathway to take us to the spirit. And on the way, they talked about the spirit as being the goal, the self. The self is often mixed up with the ego. The self is actually the spirit.
And you can see it's the person who's the I. When you're telling yourself, what did you do that for?
Yeah.
Well, who's the person disciplining yourself?
Yeah.
It's your spirit.
So and this is the reason why, and I sort of nag about it a bit when I'd be able to speak about Sahaja Yoga, is it's only through meditation and thought awareness that this evolves, because that's the process. It appears in the silence. If we're too far into the left, covers it all up. Too far on the right, covers it all up. It's on the centre that it comes and appears in that silent space, and that's how the spirit revealed and grows.
And that comes back to the question, which was, why do we balance ourselves?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can be in the centre.
Basically,
yeah.
as Lynn explained before, the central one, as we balance, these actually drop. When you feel in your meditation, they soothe down and drop. The superego, ego, they drop, and that allows that to open and manifest. And it's a process, but we've got to surrender and let it occur.
Yeah.
That's the big secret. We're not doing it. The Kundalini is, and the connection. So, and it's, well, Sahaja Yoga means simple and easy. So that's the way. And the beauty of it is, this rather gracious lady brought it to earth in 1970. And our desire is that many people connect to it, because in the end, that's the answer, above all politics and everything else. But we'll see how it goes.
See how it goes. But so here we are, third dimension, fourth dimension. So now
one of them anyway.
We've gone in the fourth dimension because we've come into that silence. So, and along with that, you start feeling in your hands all of those energy centers, which I didn't probably mention before to you. You're not hearing this before, Ashik. And then we have our own reactions to our own self and what we're seeing about ourselves. So then to get into the next dimension, the fifth dimension, is where we don't feel guilty about or don't worry about too much all of those things we're trying to clear about ourselves we've discovered. So there's the collective consciousness of ourselves and our chakras, and then there's the collective consciousness where we're all part of the sari. And then let's listen to what Shri Mataji's got to say about this. It's very.
Oh, this is beautiful talk.
We've got a fantastic talk. It's a little bit long, but it's very deep. Even us who've been trying to be there for so many years are going to find this very deep.
It's what it's all about.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. There's a few terminologies that you might be hearing for the first time. Again, don't worry, just feel the vibes of it, and we can talk after. And we've still got plenty of time. So I'll just share that with you all. Yeah. There we go. Oh. Bring that back.
That's right. Okay. I'll sleep there.
Hope you can all see.
Coming to Pandharpur for Shiv Puja was this,
Is that not?
that Shiva
So
represents
just stopping for a minute because I'm not sharing the right thing here. One sec, I'll do it again. Stay in that lovely meditative state. That's why I'm making this happen. Now, it's pink. Oh, I see. Bear with me for a minute. Oops, daisy. Stop that. Stop that. I'm getting there. Here we are.
My idea of coming to Pandharpur for Shiv Puja was this, that Shiva represents the spirit,
Here we go.
and the spirit is residing in all of you, in your hearts. The seed of Sadashiva is on top of your head, but is reflected in your heart. Now your brain is the vittal. So to bring spirit to your brain means enlightenment of your brain. Enlightenment of your brain means the limited capacity of your brain has to become unlimited. When its capacity to realize God, I will not use the word understand, to realize God, how powerful it is, how miraculous it is, how great it is. The another is that the brain of man can create, of course, out of the dead. But when the spirit comes into brain, then you create living things, living work of Kundalini. Even the dead start behaving like living because you touch the spirit in the dead. Like the nucleus inside every atom or a molecule has the spirit of that molecule. And if you become your spirit, you can say the brain of a molecule or an atom is like the nucleus body of the nucleus. The one that controls the nucleus is the spirit that resides within the nucleus. So now you have got nucleus, and inside the nucleus is the spirit. In the same way, we have this body, at least the nucleus is the brain, and the spirit is in the heart. So, the brain is controlled through the spirit. How? That around the heart, there are 7 auras, which can be multiplied into any number. 7 raised to power 1600, which are ones which watch the 7 chakras, raised to power 1600, 16,000. Now this spirit is watching through this aura, watching, I'm again saying watching. Through this aura is watching the behavior of your 7 centers in your brain. It's also watching all the nerves that are working in the brain, watching again. But when you bring the spirit into your brain, then you go 2 steps ahead. Because when your brain rises, she touches the Sadashiva, and Sadashiva informs the spirit. Informs in the sense, reflects in the spirit. So that's the first stage where the watching auras start communicating to your different chakras in the brain and integrating it. But when you bring your spirit to your brain, it's the second state. Then you really become self-realized in the full. In the full. Because then yourself, that is spirit, becomes your brain. Action is very dynamic. It opens then the 5th dimension in the human being. First, when you become realized, collectively conscious, and start raising the Kundalini, you cross the 4th dimension. When your spirit comes into your brain, then you become the 5th dimension, means you become the doer. Our brain now, for example, says, all right, lift this thing up. So you touch it with your hand, you lift it. You are the doer. But when the brain becomes spirit, spirit is the doer. And when spirit is the doer, then you become a complete Shiva, self-realized. In that state, if you get angry, you are not attached. You are not an attached person to anything whatsoever. If you possess anything, you are not attached. You cannot attach. The spirit is detachment. Completely. You don't bother about any attachments whatsoever. Even for a second, you are not attached. Now, I would say, to understand the detachment of spirit, we should study ourselves very well, clearly. How are we attached? We are attached, firstly, by our brain, mostly by our brain. Because all of our conditionings are in our brain, and all of our ego is also in our brain. So all emotional attachments are through our brain, and all our egoistical attachments also are through our brain. That's why it is said that after realization, one must try practice the Shiva Tattva by practicing detachment. Now, how do you practice this detachment? Because we get attached to something, of course through our brain, but through our attention. So we try to do what we call chitta nirodha, is to control your attention. Where is it? In the practice of Sahaja Yoga, you have to rise higher. You have to improve your own instrument and not the instrument of others. This is one thing one should do. For definite. Now you just watch your attention very slowly. Watch yourself. As soon as you start watching yourself, your attention, you will become more identified with your spirit. Because if you have to watch your attention, you have to be your spirit. Otherwise, how will you watch it? So now see, where is your attention? First, the attachment is in all those ways to your body. So we see Shiva, there is no attachment to you. He sleeps anywhere. He goes to the cemeteries and he sleeps there. Because not attached, he can never be caught up by any booths or anything, nothing of the kind. He's detached. The detachment is to be watched and seen through your own attachments. Now, because you are realized souls, not like the spirit has not come into your brain, of course, but still you are realized souls. So what you can do is at least to watch your attention even. You can watch your attention very clearly by seeing where your attention is going. And then controlling your attention also. Very simple. Control your attention. You have to just remove your attention from this to that. Try to change your priorities. All this has to be done now, after realization and complete. So the body demands comfort. Try to make body uncomfortable a little bit. What you think it to be comfortable, try to make it comfortable. That's why people went to Himalayas. See, coming to this place itself has caused us a lot of problems. Going to Himalayas, can you imagine? So after realization, they have to take their body to Himalayas. All right, go through all this. That's it, how you act. So what you call the penance side starts now. In a way, it's a penance which you can do very easily because now you are realized souls. With enjoyment, literally. Try to make this body. For Shiva, it doesn't matter whether he is in a cemetery or in his own Kailasa or anywhere. Where is your attention is that your human attention is hopelessly bad. Very entangled nonsense. We did this because of this. That's an explanation. Or others have to give an explanation. No explanation is to be given or to be accepted or to be asked. No explanation. To exist without explanation is the best way. In a simple Hindi language, Jaise Rakhav, Taise Hi. Whichever way you keep me, I'll just be in that state. And I like you. Further in this poem, Kabira says, if you make me go on an elephant, it's the royal. The males I'll go. If you want me walk, I'll go. Jaise Rakhavu, Taise Hirav. So no reaction on that. No reaction. First no explanation, no reaction. Now, second is about food. That's the first seeking human beings had as animals. No attention on food. Whether you have salt or not, whether you have this or that. No attention on food. Actually, you should not remember what you ate this morning. But we think as to what we are going to eat tomorrow. We consume food not for running this body, but for sort of a more satisfaction of dark pleasures. Once you start understanding that pleasure is a sign of gross attention, any kind of pleasure is a very gross sensationalization, sensations, very gross it is. But when I say no pleasures, please doesn't mean that you should become serious people and people of, as if somebody's dead in your family. But you should be like Shiva. So detached. So the detachment from your limited brain has to be brought. All limitations of brain should be broken so that when this ocean fills that brain, should break that little cup. And every bit of that cup should become colorful. The whole atmosphere, everything, whatever you look at should be colorful. Color of the spirit is the light of the spirit. And this light of the spirit acts, works, thinks, coordinates, does it. This is the reason today I decided to bring Shiva Tattva to the brain. The first procedure is to take your brain towards the Shiva Tattva by telling it, see, where are you going, Mr. Brain? Putting attention to this, putting attention to that, getting involved now, detach from the brain, only the brain. Detach. And then take this detached brain, completely filled with the color of the spirit. It will automatically happen. As long as you have these limitations to your attention, it will not happen. So one has to really deliberately do this tapasya. Every minute. I'm with you. So you don't need any Buddha that way. But that state has to be achieved. And for achieving that state, you need the Buddha. I hope so many of you become the Shiva Tattvas in my lifetime. But don't think I'm asking you to suffer. There is no suffering in this kind of an ascent. If you understand that this is the complete joy state, that is the time when you become Niranand. That's the joy named in the Sastara. The name of the joy is Niranand, and you know your mother's name is Niranand. So you become Niranand. So today's worship of Shiva has a special meaning. I hope whatever we do in the outward way, in a gross way, happens also in the subtler way. I'm trying to push your spirits into your brains, but I find it rather sometimes difficult because your attention is still involved. Try to detach yourself. Temper, lust, greed, everything. Try to reduce. Like in food, I told today Warren, ask him to eat less, not like gluttonous people. See, once in a while, on a day of the big banquet, right? But you can't eat every time like that. It's not a sign of Sahaja. Try to control. Try to control your speech. Whether you express temper in your speech, or you express your compassion, or you are artificially compassionate. Try to do. I know some of you may not do much. Sorry. I'll try to tell you many times. I'll try to. But most of you can. You should try. So on a deeper level from today, we start from Sahaja Yoga, where some of you may not attain, but most of you should try to go deeper. Everyone, for that you don't need persons who are very, very educated or very peaceful. No, not at all. People who meditate, dedicate, go deeper, because they are like the first roots which have to reach for others much deeper. so that others can follow.
Let's just close our eyes. For what that noise is.
Officially.
So there's in.
In the Gita,
Oh, sorry about that, folks. Let's just come back in the center. Philip, would you like to just take us into a deeper meditation together? Just closing our eyes, keeping our hands open in our lap.
Take some affirmations for our heart. Each chakra has 3 aspects, and we'll just take some affirmations for those 3 at the heart level. Place our right hand on our heart. Our center heart is to do with our security, of being fearless, not afraid, but secure. This is the center heart. So here we can ask, please give me security and stability. Our heart is very important, even on the physical level. Our heart beats the rhythm of life. Please give me security and fearlessness. Our right heart, which is a part of the heart, is to do with our human quality of responsibility and being a good human. So here we can ask for the quality of being a good human, with all those qualities. And it's heartfelt. It's in our heart. Same time, we can take a deep breath. Just slowly take the air in. Let the air slowly go out. It's the element of air, as the lungs are the heart of this whole area. And it's soothing. You move your hand slightly over to the left and here where our spirit resides. And here we can ask for the qualities of the spirit Shri Mataji has described. It's silence, joy, love. It's just there. It's what we are to evolve to, above the mind, above the conditioning, above the ego. Because the spirit is the answer. And here we can say, I'm not the past or my conditioning. I'm not the future or my ego. I am the spirit. And let this be established in my daily meditation, and let it progress and evolve. Take our right hand up to our forehead, and by forgiving at this chakra, it allows the Kundalini to come through. It allows the heart to touch our Sarasrara at the top. The more silent we are here, the more that can manifest. So here we can ask, please make me a forgiving person. I forgive myself and I forgive everybody else. Allows us to be liberated in the true sense. Please open my Agya chakra. Take our right hand to the top. This is our integration with the whole. It allows our spirit, which is a reflection of the whole within us, to be connected to that greater being outside ourselves. They're one and the same. Our spirit is the same in a smaller form of that great being outside ourselves. We can ask to maintain that connection and allow it to develop. In reality, we are to become the spirit. You can lift the hand up, feel that cool breeze there. Keep our attention there. Bring our hand back to our lap, just for a few minutes, to feel that within ourselves. Don't wish to nag, but try this each day. Be patient with yourself and let yourself get into thoughtless awareness, and you will feel that beautiful quality. We'll finish up just by raising our Kundalini. Left hand rising, right hand circling around it. We take it to the top, tie a knot. We do that again, and on the second one at the top, we try 2 knots. Our third one, 3 knots at the top. Keeping our left hand open on our lap, take our right hand over to our left side, over the top, through our Kundalini. Over and back is 1, over and back is 2, up to 7, the 7 chakras. We put into what's called a bandha, or a bond of love, to keep on ourselves. And to end with, you can always do make a little thank you to your Kundalini and your spirit, because that's what is happening within us.
I'll just pop a little bit of music because you sent me a couple of nice music excerpts. I'll play one silent just down low, and then if anyone has any questions, also online, I'll give you the power if you have any questions. And in the meantime, we can just have that music silently, quietly in the background in the fullness of time. Somewhere here. Which one would you like to have, Philip? Spiritus Sanctus or?
That's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's in Latin and it's about the spirit. Sung by some Sahaja Yogis from Sydney quite a few years ago. Beautiful piece.
I'll turn it down a bit. Whoops, it's down too much. I'll share that with everyone too. Share the sound. So Ben wishes to unmute. Also here, if you wish to unmute, you are most welcome.
We're unmuted.
You're unmuted.
We're unmuted.
Turn it down a little bit more. Every time I hear that video, I understand it a little bit more. And then you think it means something else.
Yeah, there's a lot in it.
It's very hard to talk. Oh, I know, it's distracting, isn't it? It's very nice. Let's just look at the calendar. How have you been? Did you have a good meditation?
Yeah.
How's it?
Been practicing, but not regularly. Doing most of the day.
Oh, that's good.
I went to India for 2 weeks. Week to around. And I'm going again next week. My mother is not well, so my mind is not at
Where does she live?
in India.
Oh, okay, you're flying back again.
Yes.
Yeah.
We tried.
You went with Vara.
Yeah, during that time, he went
My
one
son-in-law.
Yes.
So you were almost related.
Yes, correct.
They had a good time. Enjoyed.
Yeah, it was amazing. Before that, we didn't know. We're close to
It's conveniently located. Near you?
Convenient one.
Conveniently located.
Oh, okay, good. It's always handy.
So Kate was just saying that she loves learning that enlightening the spirit calms the mind.
Yeah.
So she's picked up an interesting point. Good pick up, Kate.
It is a profound talk.
It is, yeah.
I happened to be there that night. On that site, I was in a riverbed pebbles everywhere, dark, hardly any light. Shri Mataji arrived early, nothing was set up for the celebration. She sat on the edge of the stage. I did this profound talk. And it was, whereabouts is Pandapur? It's in Maharashtra, but it's on the dry river there.
Do you know, Gerard, where is Pandapur? Maharashtra.
Which area? Next to it, yeah. We had to take all the equipment, set up all the microphones, dragging these boxes across this riverbed. And all of a sudden, she was there. You just got it done in time.
There's a very big temple there, which is this temple.
Yeah. There's a big temple up there, which was playing music. And there was this.
Yeah, I think this happens naturally. I mean, the detachment and all that, once you get into the meditation method, and this you don't have to try this naturally, it will happen.
It just happens.
It's in Gita about 20 slokas exclusively on explaining this is there, but since it's very hard to understand, so it tries to compare all the other things we have, and then this one, and then how is it different? So in the end, from Upanishads and all that, they give an example. I mean, just as an analogy, it's not that, but it's something like a light in your heart, and it goes on its own.
Yeah.
It's not light, but for understanding it, it says it's like it's a flame and light, and that glows, and then you have to realize that it's not like physical thing. But I think the challenging thing in the whole picture is getting rid of that super ego and ego. I think where we struggle, most of us struggle. I struggle.
All of us.
Don't battle.
That is, I don't know what is super
It just
ego.
happens. You recognise that after a while. You go, oh, here I go again. But it evolves. The ego and superego have uses.
Sorry?
If ego and superego have uses and qualities, but we don't want the negative aspects. Because without a superego, we wouldn't be able to remember or have empathy or a soft desire. With an ego, we'd be blob, because it gives us the will to be active. So there is positive things. It's not all bad, but the spirit and that is a bubble of that. They sort of melt together in a way. And
So we're using it instead of being used by.
Yes, yeah. Another mentions that on that actually, the way that the spirit uses them, goes through.
Yeah, so it's not, when she says about going up to the Himalayas, it doesn't mean we actually need to go to the Himalayas.
No, because that's your ego doing it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So there's the balance again. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's where they misinterpreted Buddha.
But still not to get into too much food.
That's a big one.
The good side of Sahaja Yoga compared to the Gita and other scriptures we have is you can feel it. So that's
That's the main thing. Yes.
So you can feel the
that's
cool. Sometimes you think a lot, then nothing happens. Then you know your brain is somewhere else. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And so you always come back to that.
Yoga stands out because it gives you the ability to connect.
And do on your own.
And also that connection with everyone. We're not just a separate, this is Sahaja Yoga, nobody else or with any other beliefs is there, but we're all the same sari.
If you understand, Ishvara is same, it's one.
Yeah, it's just different names, different pictures.
And very difficult part, this session to understand and to realize all the time is tough.
Yeah,
but
poor little brain, mind.
But otherwise, you just practice the meditation and then you get it naturally. I think don't have to think.
That's the process.
Perfect
That's
point.
the process.
Yeah.
That's anyway, let it grow.
And your son's back in Brisbane?
Yes.
Yeah.
again recently stress fracture, so another 8 weeks down.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
Back. Mataji.
Trying to look out for the side. Yeah.
Thanks for joining, everyone. I've just realised we're a little bit over time right now. But thanks so much for joining us. I'd like to see you next week. We could be doing the Central Channel next week. Very important. So we'll all say bye and see you next time.